Well, everyone, the kitchen seemed to turn out really nice. We really like that look. So we decided that we would go ahead and do around the wood stove. So here we go. Test and trial and find out. Works it don't, we take it down, right? You know, guys, I got telling you before that I didn't do any tiling, and I forgot that 2 years ago when I bought this house that I made this hearth, because at the fireplace shop where we ordered the wood stove, it was going to cost me like $800 for a hearth. I built this, I think, for $100, $125. So I kind of fibbed. I did do some tiling in my past, and it was this for the wood stove, because I was too cheap to spend that kind of money on a pre-made one. And it has held up. I built it to specs, what the insurance company told me I needed, and the fireplace company gave me the specs of the ones that they get pre-made. So I checked with my insurance company. I built one. They looked at it and they approved it. So I had to show them the materials that I used and step by step, and they approved it. So there it is. So I did do some tiling. But it's kind of hard. I can't get the camera back there for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. But as we get out here, I'll turn the camera back on so you can see. Well, guys, I got to talking to my wife and just putting the tiles in. I forgot to turn the camera back on. But that's where we are right now, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for my border, because they really don't have any kind of border stone for this that would, go with it. So I'm going to take the pieces of scrap that I cut off, and I'm going to put them on the end right here, just like a border would go. I'm going to put them right there, just like that, going up the side to kind of box it in and make it look better, because you really need a border that is uncut, and I'm using fresh edge factory cut, because I tell you, this stuff that we bought, when you cut it, it gets really brittle and it chips up some. So I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing here, and I'm getting ready to start the next row. I'm going to do this side, get this side completed, and then I'm going to work on the other side, because the other side has an outlet, and it's back there in a really tight spot with the stove. So I don't want to rush through that, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to really get into that right away. I wanted to do something easy to kind of get me into the mojo of it. But you guys see what I'm doing, and I'll be back in a little bit, show you what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I brought this to your attention. If you're going over paint, you're going to try to get mortar to stick, you need to sand it, okay? You need to rough it up. And I'll go this way, and then on the way back I'll go up and down. You want to really scar it up. And if you're putting mortar on, and if you run across an area where the mortar don't stick, take the edge of your trowel and scratch it with the corner so the mortar has something to stick to. But this is what I'm doing. Just like that. And then I'll go back, I'll grab a damp cloth, and I'm going to wipe it. Because you do see the dust, the paint dust. You want to make sure it's clean and dry. And then off to the races with the next row. Hi guys. Hey, I'm getting this half piece that I cut to bring me out to the point that I need to be. And we thought we'd turn the camera on so you can see what we're doing here. And when I was talking about earlier about scratching the paint with your trowel, if you find a spot where it's not sticking, just do this. And just go different directions, and you'll find it will grab it. Because that means you missed a spot with the sandpaper. Or you got some kind of grease or something on it. It depends, I guess, where if you're working in the kitchen or where you're working at, if you're going to get grease or not. But what I try to do, no matter what, is go different directions just to scratch the paint up a little bit. And then, as you see, there's none in here. And what I usually do is I do this. I come and I'll just put some on. That's pretty much all you got to do. Now I went a little far in past the area that I'm going to need, but I'll scrape that off just so I have a good surface when I go to put my border on, because I don't want that to dry up like that. And then I just set it like so. Now you want to feel to make sure all your pieces, when you go like this, you don't want any sticking out further than the others and grabbing, because when you go to put your mud in the joints, you're going to find out pretty quick it's going to tear up your sponge. And then you'll be cussing and hollering because you're leaving sponge all over your wall, and that's not a good thing. But as you see, that's left there. Now what I've been doing, I just make sure my joints are cleared out, so when I go to put mud in it later, I know I got place for mud to go in. See? And it lets me know that I'm lined up too. Now that we're going layers, guys, don't forget, I mean, I can see it. I'm sitting down here on the floor, but you want to make sure all your lines, let's see if I can get that laid up there, all your lines line up. It's kind of hard to do left-handed. I'm righty, so, but see how the lines, they all line up? You need to check that and make sure that your lines line up, otherwise it's not going to look too pretty when you're done. But that's it. Now what I'll do here, like what I was telling you, I'll just come along and I'll just scrape that off, put it back in my bucket, so that, one, I'm not wasting material, but two, I have a nice surface for my next row and for my border. Remember, we're going to do this, right? Actually like this, but we're going to do this. So that ought to look pretty good. But okay, I got to cut some because we're not going to go really high here. We're just going to go maybe just a little above the stove. So I got to get these cut and get them all lined up. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Well guys, I'm working on finishing up this border on this side. And let me tell you, it's pretty rough on my back. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but I have to take that off. I didn't have enough mud going down far enough on that. And I want to make sure it adheres to this wall, because out of all the tiles, your edge is the one that takes the beating from all the abuse of dropping things, or you know how that goes. But there it is, guys. There's this side. Now I gotta go cut a little square, as my partner here was telling me. You got one more little one to cut. So I am going to get this edge cleaned up, and I showed you guys how I was doing this. And you know, this works pretty good as a kind of a guide, because it keeps all your tiles that same width. Look at that. So it made it pretty easy to do. So I'm gonna go cut this little tile, get it put in, I'm gonna clean up this edge, and then I'm gonna start working on the other wall. So I'll see you guys in a few. Okay, I got this side done so far, guys. I don't think it turned out too bad. I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah, it's gonna be, I don't think I can get it to focus any better because of the way my lighting is here. Hi guys. Hey, got around this outlet over here, and this one actually turned out to be a lot easier the way the tiles lined up. So we were able to move along pretty quick right through here. No fighting measurements and trying to get around the outlet, because like I said, these tiles, when you cut them, they get really brittle, real crumbly. But hey, I think I might get this done tonight, and then it's just mortaring tomorrow, you know, mudding it in. So wish me luck, but it looks like it's coming along pretty good. Talk to you guys in a little bit.